We invite Sergeant Bover up.
Well, I think, yeah. Mr. Chairman, due to time restraints, could we refer this to the Common Council meeting to be discussed at that? Just so we don't run over into the council meeting, because we can't.
Sure.
Fine with that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Okay, we'll refer it to the regular meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Are you in the, I think you are, aren't you? Yeah, you are.
So, tickets. All right. I got two, one for me and one for me and one for the superintendent. Whoever got coffee in there.
Neither Common Council, State Council from order, could read the attendance, please.
Council Capone.
Here.
Council Del Solo.
Here.
Council DeFlorio.
Yeah.
Council Hanlon. Council McGonigal.
Here.
Council McKinnon.
Here.
Council Napolitano.
Here.
Council Sachetta.
Here.
Council Sani.
Here.
Council Simonelli.
Here.
Council Marquez.
Here.
10 members present, Mr. President.
I believe Councilor Hanlon had a medical
Test today.
test today, so obviously he won't be here tonight. Let's stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excuse me. Before we proceed tonight, I want to make a couple announcements regarding dedications. On Saturday, March 15 at 10 a.m., Sergeant Roger Ford, Marine, Vietnam, corner of Harris Ave and Clinton Street. At 11 a.m., you'll have Airman Walter Snook, U.S. Air Force, Vietnam, the corner of Broadway and Parker Street. All they can attend will be appreciated. And this is from Mr. Hickey and the Veterans Administration. Clerk, read the first piece, please.
First order of business of public hearing, 12 parties interested in a petition for National Grid to install on Revere Street one SO pole beginning at a point approximately 20 feet west of the center line of the intersection of Chelsea Street and continuing approximately 35 feet in a southerly direction. National Grid to install a new guy stub pole number 1655-84.
This matters before you. This matters before you, so I'll make a motion.
Do we have the petitioner before us, please?
Motion made, second to have the petition come before you. All in favor?
You can have a
Opposed?
seat over here, sir.
No, yes, no,
Could we just have your name and title?
My name is Michael Munitis, representing National Grid. I'm a designer.
Yep, could you please explain to this board what your interest is here?
Yeah, the pole is actually, right now, there's a tree here, and we have a guy wire going to that tree to support pole 1655. It's my understanding that the city wants that tree to be removed. Because of the weight of the cables on that pole, we'll need to place another pole to put a guy wire to support the pole from leaning.
Does everybody have this in front of them, what the proposal is actually? Wait, do they have these? Do they have these? Let me just have them pass it on me and take a look at it. Sal, someone take a quick peek, that's what they're proposing to do there. Hey, just take a peek, no, just the guys here, if anybody's interested in the procedure they're doing. Is that right? Just take a quick look at it, and then you can see what they're proposing to do. The matters before you, so everybody.
Second.
This would be, a motion be made to open to a public hearing. So motion made, second, to open to a public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, it'll be a public hearing, and I will ask 3 times, all in favor, and if you're in favor of this, come speak in the microphone behind the petitioner. If you're against, come behind them also for 3 times. So we'll start off saying, is anyone interested in favor of this pole being erected? Is anybody in favor of this pole being erected and this tree taken down? Is anybody in favor of this pole being erected and this tree being taken down? Seeing no one, that part is done. Anybody opposed to taking the tree down and putting that pole up? Anybody opposed to taking the tree down and putting the pole up? Anybody opposed to the petition to take the tree down? Seeing none? That matter's over, it's before you.
Favorable action.
on the order?
Second.
Motion made and second. Roll call vote.
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel Della Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counsel McGonigal. Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano. Counsel Sachetta.
Yes.
Counsel Sani.
Yes.
Counsel Simonelli.
Yes.
Counsel Marquez.
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
You have granted now permission for,
Excuse customary, thanks.
Thank you.
thank you. Clerk, at this time, the public participation.
Item number 2 is a resolution sponsored by Counsel Michael Marquez, is present to hold a 10-minute public participation period.
Make a motion to open public participation?
Second.
Motion made, second, public participation, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Do we have a list? Anybody?
Yes, Mr. President, we have Joseph Du Bois.
Mr. Du Bois, if you'd like to speak?
Sure.
I'd just like to pass this around so they can just look at it, okay? I'm not just here for myself, I'm here for my neighbor. I'm here for all the people that have to ride the bus and the people that have to cross. I live on 26 Everett Street. I realize that the bottom of the street is not the same as the top of the street, where it's a main street where a lot of people are crossing and it's very busy. And I think we have to do something. We have to do some kind of ordinance or get
Mr.
one.
Dubois, Abbott Ave?
No, Everett Street.
Everett Street, okay.
And I just think that the snow is so high that when you get off the bus, there's no place to step. So you have to step into the street. And not only that, when you want to press the crosswalk, you can't even get to the signal crossing to press it. And I think you're doing an injustice to the funeral parlor up at the top of the hill, because people use that. And I think that because it's a main street, if you want to start with the ordinance, maybe just when it's on the main streets, the side streets and the main streets, those are the ones that I think that probably need to be done. You know, you need to address it a little bit better, you know. I don't know if you know what I mean, but when it's crowded and there's a lot of people walking, for the sake of safety, we have to do something. So I'm just here, I'm just pleading to you because I think something should be done, but I think we just, you know, everyone wants to say, well, is it the MBTA or whose responsibility it is, but people shouldn't have to walk on the street that have to take public transportation. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Watts.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any other sign-in sheets, so I'll make a motion to close public participation.
Motion made to close public participation. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That part is
Do have a
complete.
sign-in sheet.
Mr.
We
President?
do have a sign-in sheet, Mr. President.
May I rise on a point of public service announcement, please?
I don't know if that's
Concerning
still-
it's concerning the resident sticker program.
Ms. Counselor, at the end of the meeting, we'll grant some time on the public, on the sticker. But in the meantime, I guess that's how we do it now. So we'll just proceed with the, what's ever written down. Is it on here tonight?
No, I just wanted, there's a couple of ways of doing it now. I just want to let the people know out there that there's another way of doing it besides on the computer.
You also, I'm going to grant a couple of minutes because I'm having people call me up with confusion also on it. Some people don't have computers. And you're right now, I'd like to make a motion to grant Council Simonelli 2 or 3 minutes just to quickly explain what's going on with the parking situation, parking stickers. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Council Simonelli?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm concerning about is the overnight parking stickers. As we all know, we can get it on the website. That's what the main reason of doing it. But also, if you have any questions on it, as far as how you do it on the website, we have a number here, which is 508-381-5455. That's concerning the website. If you need, they'll tell you how to take care of it. Now, the other way to do it, a lot of people don't really know this, is that you could go up to City Hall and fill out this simple application and with your registration, and they will mail it to you to your address. And it's very simple. A lot of people don't know that. You can go up to City Hall and fill out an application. So I just want the people out there to know there are two ways to do it, by computer, or you can go up to City Hall, fill out the application, and then they'll send you the sticker along with your registration. They'll send you a sticker to your address. And also, you have until the end of March, and then after that, it'll be $10. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Council, thank you very much. Very informative. Clerk, read the,
I have a sign-in sheet, Mr. President.
Yes.
So I'd like to suspend Rule 7.1 and take items number 14
Se-
off the agenda.
Second.
motion made to take items 14, or what was that? Motion made to take item 14 off. Motion made to take 14 off the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
I oppose. Clerk, read item 14.
Item number 14 is order sponsored by Council Michael Marquez as president to transfer the amount of $130,000 from budgetary fund balance to the employee leave buyback account to cover employee retirement payout for vacation time, sick time, comp time, health insurance buyback, and attendance bonus stipends. Since July 1, we have had many retirements which drew down the account.
I make a motion to suspend Rule 13.
Second. Motion made to suspend Rule, was it 13?
13.
13, all in favor?
Aye.
I oppose. In the favorable action?
Favorable action on the order.
Motion made for favorable action on the order. That'll be a, what you call vote, a roll call
Counselor
vote.
Capone.
Yes.
Counselor Delasola.
Yes.
Counselor DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counselor McGonigal.
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon.
Yes.
Counselor Napolitano.
Yes.
Counselor Sechetta.
Yes.
Counselor Sani. Yes. Counselor Simonelli.
Yes.
Counselor Marquez.
Yes. The
10
amount,
yeas, 0 nays.
the amount has been transferred to the, from the budgetary fund balance to the employee leave buyback account.
Suspend Rule 7.1, Mr. President.
Second.
And take items number 19.
Second.
Motion made to suspend item, Rule 7.1 to take item, excuse me,
19.
item from the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
I oppose. Clerk, read item 19.
Item number 19 is an ordinance sponsored by Councilor Sal Sechetta. The Committee on Legislative Affairs and Election reviewed the odd even side parking ban for snow removal to work out some problems and improve the ordinance with a recommendation request further time.
Second that motion, grant further time. I make a motion to grant further time.
Motion made and seconded to grant further time on item 19. All in favor?
Aye.
I oppose. Item 19 is, request for further time has been granted.
On the motion? We have Sergeant Bover here.
Oh, we already voted on it. Do you want to move reconsideration and bring that piece back?
Yes, I do.
Second.
Wow. What do you want to do on it?
Mr. President, we'd like to,
Motion made and second to file for reconsideration.
all those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk, read item 19 again.
Item number 19 is an ordinance sponsored by Council Sal Sechetta, Committee on Legislative Affairs and Election, reviewed the odd even side parking ban for snow removal to work out some problems and improve the ordinance with a recommendation request further time.
Counsel?
This was supposed to be in the meeting that we had prior, that we asked laid over to this committee. So we'd like to invite Sergeant Bover and Mayor's Chief of Staff up to,
Winnell?
Second. It's my resolution, could I speak on it?
I believe so.
yeah,
Yes, I spoke to Sergeant Bovo on this, on the phone some months ago. I just want to bring up a point. We have this one-sided parking. There's no problem with the odd even side, because they always park on the side they're supposed to park on. But on the two-way streets, where there is parking on both sides of the street, we have to park on the side even or odd. And in some cases, when we park on one or the other, one side of the street has hydrants, and we lose a number of spaces on that street. I just don't understand why we can't just have, as Sergeant Boba told me, I believe he told me, years ago, we had parking only on the side of the street that doesn't have the hydrants, so you don't lose these parking spaces. And in the city, you must have 200 or 300 hydrants that will be involved in this. So I was just wondering if this would be a possibility. I know we've changed it 2 or 3 times in the 6 years I've been an alderman. So, and I don't know that you want to change it again because it's kind of confusing, but we do lose a lot of spots in this regard. Sergeant?
I didn't say that that was the system we did have, but that was considered and might have made sense. I personally prefer the system the city used years and years ago, and they got away from it because maybe the way they do it now is a little more user-friendly. It's easier for people to remember an odd year, and they park on the same side all year. It's simpler, but there's a lot of drawbacks to it. The old system we used, where you, from November to March, you would switch back and forth every night, odd even days. There's a lot of benefits to that. And granted, it was a little harder for people sometimes to remember which day and which side to park on, but you get no abandoned cars that way when the cars are moving every night. you don't have to deal with the hydrants all the time, you only have to deal with them half the time. When you get a snowstorm, the city can plow one curb, move the cars to the other side, you can plow the other. The way it works now, if you live on the wrong side, your side of the street never gets plowed all winter. So there are a lot of benefits to that old system if people could just remember which side they have to be on.
I'll go
Counsel-
along with what you have to say. I just thought that might be a possibility to change it, but if you think it's better the way we have it now, I'll go along with that.
Counsel Rosa?
What you're saying, Sergeant, is that the old system that we had before, the new ordinance that's in effect now,
Yeah,
right?
yes,
Okay.
the old system where you went by odd day, even day, as opposed to odd year, even year.
Okay, if we change it back to the.
Another
because I
benefit
believe
to
it
that,
does
by the
work
way, would be that it helps the city prepare for a storm better also.
Right.
I hear a number of people complaining around the city about how people don't use their driveways. The old odd even nightly system kind of pushed people into using those spaces because it limited the parking on a nightly basis. And the benefit to that is, if you're used to parking on one side every night during storm season, it's less difficult for the police to clear the roadways for the plows to do their job. If we get hit by a quick moving storm, we have to focus on Broadway, Ferry Street, Chelsea Street, the emergency arteries, and it's sometimes difficult for us to get into these side streets, and it causes complaints on the job that gets done with the plowing, which is no fault of the DPW, it's just that you can only tow so many cars so quickly. The old system kind of eliminated that problem.
My question is, if we go back to the old system, obviously there's gonna be a cost to that, because now you have to do new signs.
Well, there's no signage involved in the odd even.
Well, see, that's the problem, is because now people are used to even an odd side in the year, so what I'm saying is if we go back to the old ways and you're doing even and odd days, like in other words, you'd have to put a sign that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday you could park here, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday you park here. It's gonna be difficult to let people go back to the old way now.
Well, it wouldn't require signage because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on one month is not gonna be the same as the next month. It's just an
Right.
odd day and even
Right.
day. There wouldn't be any signage required. It would require some public education, maybe some ads in the paper, some robocalls to let them know. And I'm not even saying that you should do it. The reason I believe they switched to the system is, like I said, for lack of a better term, I would call it more user-friendly. It's easier for them to remember year instead of day to change, but I think it's something you might want to debate.
Unfortunately, not everything is 100%, but the way you said it, just like, especially this year with all the snow that we have had, on streets that there's two-sided parking, it would definitely the whole street would get plowed. Because if the storm happened on the Monday and you're parked on the left-hand side, the right-hand side would get plowed on the Monday, and then on Tuesday, the left-hand side would get
It would
plowed.
at least give you that option if resources were available. The way it is now, one side doesn't get touched for the whole year.
Okay. Well, sponsor.
Yeah, I'll refer this back to sponsor, but there is one change that Melissa Murphy would like to make that wasn't made originally in our ordinances.
Yeah, just, and it could just maybe even be a clerical change with the clerk, but the way the ordinance is drafted right now, Section A conflicts with Section E, so that does need to be fixed. It's contradictory at this point.
So,
And, City Clerk, I don't know if you can just fix that on your own rather than.
Yeah, yes, I can just fix it, yeah.
Do we have any more questions?
Can excuse with the customary thanks?
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Motion made and second to refer back to sponsor. I think, and also for clarification from the clerk for those two, rules are,
Couple of board, there's a couple of conflicts
a couple of
in
conflicts.
how it reads, yeah.
Motion made and second to refer back to sponsor and also to field the conflicts for A&E. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Refer it back to sponsor.
Mr. President, I make a motion to suspend Rule 7.1 and take items number 23 off the agenda.
Motion made and second to take item 21 off the agenda. All in favor? 23. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Clerk, read item 23.
Item number 23 is a resolution sponsored by Council John Liam McKinnon, Council Pino Napolitano. The Government Operates Public Safety and Service Committee report to discuss auxiliary patrol proposal.
Second committee report, please, on file.
Second.
Motion made second to accept the committee report put on file. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? The, has been put on file.
On this motion, I refer it down to the mayor's office, and I want to report back within 1 month.
And also to,
Second that motion.
okay, so
Refer
the,
to the mayor's office and report back within 1 month.
okay, the motion made to refer to the mayor's office. All in favor?
Aye.
And report back in 1 month. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is referred to the mayor's office. Accept the report and to send down to the mayor's office for reply in 1 month.
Suspend Rule 7.1 and take items number 25 off the agenda, please.
Second.
Motion made to suspend rules 7.1 to take item 25 off the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk, read item 21.
Item number 21.
Excuse me, 25.
25.
25.
Item number 25 is an order sponsored by Council Michael Marquez as President, Committee and Business Development Committee report on the petition for an auto repair mechanical license for Luis F. Norena, DBA Z Auto Care, 172 Chelsea Street, with a recommendation to issue a 3-month license and review after that time.
I make a motion to accept the committee report and place on file.
Second.
Motion made, second to accept the committee's report. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Also
Motion,
make a motion for favorable recommendation for a 3-month.
is that part of the report?
Yes. It's part of the
Okay, so
report,
that's,
Mr. President.
that's all set then, right?
Yes.
That we encompassed that, we took the report from the committee to take the 3-month.
We've asked all the questions, we come up with a 3-month recommendation, unless any of our colleagues have any other questions, I ask for favorable recommendation.
Okay, so we accepted the committee report, and was that inclusive of the 3-month
Yes.
trial? Okay. So we accepted the clerk, the report.
Council Capone. Yes. Council Della Sola.
Yes.
Council DeFlorio.
Yes.
Council McGonigal.
No.
Council McKinnon.
No.
Council Napolitano.
Yes.
Council Sachetta.
Yes.
Council Sani.
Yes.
Council Simonelli.
Yes.
Council Marquez.
Yes.
8 yeas, 2 nays, Mr. President.
The petition to have a 3-month trial on your repair mechanical license be granted.
Make a motion to suspend Rule 7.1, takes items number 1 off the agenda.
Second. Motion made to suspend the Rule 7.1, accept item number 1.
We
All
already
in
did
favor?
one.
Yeah.
Refer back to order of business.
No.
No,
There's
no.
still silence.
Wait a minute, I'm sorry.
What's that?
Make a motion to suspend Rule 7.1 and take items number 27, please.
Motion made to suspend Rule 7.1 and take item number 27 on the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk, read item 27.
Item number 27 is a resolution sponsored by Council John Liam McKinnon to invite Mr. Dave Devon up to the next meeting relative to a request to utilize Glendale Park, May 23rd to May 26th, for the 3rd Annual Classic in memory of Al Vega, a veteran and 49 years of coaches for the coaching Babe Ruth for the city of Everett. They are requesting 2 games on Friday, 1 at 6, 1 at 8, and a game at 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Also invite Parks Commission representative from the mayor's office to attend.
Can we have Mr. Dave Devana before us, and anyone from the Parks Commission or the mayor's office?
Hi, Mr. Brown, how are you?
Dave Devana, representative of Everett Babe Ruth.
It is.
Melissa Murphy, Mayor DeMarine's office.
Mr. Devana, can you just explain briefly what this is?
Yeah, 3 years ago, I created a memorial tournament in memory of Coach Al Vega, who coached in Everett Babe Ruth for 49 years. He's a veteran, and this was our way of paying tribute to him each year. We chose Memorial Day weekend based on the fact that he is a veteran, and it's also a time when a lot of the baseball programs aren't actually playing other than Babe Ruth. We invite towns from all over Massachusetts. We've got teams from Taunton, Freetown, Beverly, Billerica that have committed and come down to play in this tournament, Arlington. So it's an 8-team tournament, single elimination. It's a nice tournament that the kids come down and play, and it's a really, really nice time to honor Coach Al Vega.
Thank you. From the mayor's office, would there be an issue with this happening over the Memorial Day?
All requests for use of the parks have to go through the City Services Commission. So what he would need to do, Mr. Devine would need to do, is fill out an application with Charlene Guzman at City Services. The request would be considered by the City Services Commission, and they would make sure that the scheduling is available and that the insurance binder is in place. So that's what I would advise him to do, is to go ahead and fill that out as soon as possible to make sure that he reserves the dates.
Thank you. Excuse, Councilor Murray, thanks.
Thank you
And,
very much.
Make a request for Mr. Devana to do the application at the Parks Commission, I believe it is. Thank you.
Motion made,
And refer back to sponsor.
motion made, and second, refer back to sponsor, and also to, good luck on that, the tournament, too, that they be able to be successful.
Mr. President, please suspend the rules 7.1 and take items 8, 9, and 10 collectively. I believe they're all approved.
Second.
Motion made to suspend Rule 7.1 and to take 8, 9, and 10 collectively from the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk, read 8, 9, and 10, please.
Item number 8 is an order sponsored by Council Michael Marquez, is present, subject to confirmation by the Honorable Board of Aldermen. Is on the mayor appoint Frank Nuzzo III to the Board of Health for a 3-year term ending March 2017.
Favorable action on
Item number 9 is an order sponsored by Council Michael Marquez, is present, subject to confirmation by the Honorable City Council. Is on the mayor appoints Ian Lalaberty to the City Services Commission for a term of 5 years ending March 1st, 2019. And number 10 is an order sponsored by Council Michael Marquez, is present, subject to confirmation by the Honorable City Council. I hereby appoint Joseph LaMonica Sr. to the City Services Commission for a term of 4 years ending March 1st, 2018.
Make a motion for favorable recommendation.
Council Capone?
Are these supposed to go to 28?
Not if you suspend the rules.
Yeah, the rules, but
Yep.
you have to suspend the rules. I think it's 20, right? 20A.
So make a motion to suspend Rule 20A, is it?
20A.
Second the motion.
Motion made, second to suspend Rule 28. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Favorable action on the orders.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second for favorable action. I believe we have a roll call on this.
On item number 8, Mr. Frank Nuzzo III to the Board of Health. Council Capone.
Yes.
Council Del Solo.
Yes.
Council DeFlorio.
Yes.
Council McGonigal.
Yes.
Council McKinnon.
Yes.
Council Napolitano.
Yes.
Council Sachetta.
Yes.
Council Sani.
Yes.
Council Simonelli.
Yes.
Council Marquez.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
Congratulations, Mr. Nuzzle.
On item number 9, Mr. Ian Lalaberty to the City Services Commission. Councilor Capone.
We're voting on number 9, the confirmation, number 9.
Yes.
Council Del Solo.
Yes.
Council DeFlorio.
Yes.
Council McGonigal.
Yes.
Council McKinnon.
Yes.
Council Napolitano.
Yes.
Council Sachetta.
Yes.
Council Sani.
Yes.
Council Simonelli.
Yes.
Council Marquez.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
Congratulations to Mr. Lalaberty.
Item number 10, Ms. LaMonica to the City Services Commission, 4 years ending March 2018. Council Capone.
Yes.
Council Del Solo.
Yes.
Council DeFlorio.
Yes.
Council McGonigal.
Yes.
Council McKinnon.
Yes.
Council Napolitano.
Yes.
Council Sachetta.
Yes.
Council Sani.
Yes.
Council Simonelli.
Yes.
Council Marquez.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
Also, congratulations, Ms. LaMonica. Do we have anything on the list left?
Make a motion to suspend Rule 7.1, take items number 12 off the agenda.
Motion made to suspend rules, second, suspend Rule 7.1 and take item 12 off the agenda. All in favor? Aye. I oppose. Clerk, read item 12.
Item number 12 is an order sponsored by Council Michael Marquez, as president, to approve a home rule petition relative to the Glenwood Cemetery Perpetual Care Fund.
Counsel Sachetta?
Yeah, I have some questions on this. Could someone from the mayor's office or the cemetery come up?
What we probably should do is refer it right to,
Committee?
to committee.
Which committee? Government Affairs? Or Community? Finance.
Good evening, Dave Rodriguez, Assistant City Solicitor.
Yes, thank you, Dave. First of all, how much is in this perpetual fund
It's
right now?
estimated to be about $515,000 total.
Okay. When we say we're going to use this for cleaning the cemetery, I know it has to be done, and make more lots available, is this going to be taking some of the streets as they did previously and fill them in so they could have more lots?
We have some ideas on how to proceed, but one of the things that we want to do and what we want to use that money for is to get somebody who's a professional in designing cemeteries in places like this, so that we can make sure that we can, first of all, respect the people who have been buried there previously, while also maximizing the amount of land that's there now. So there's a lot of land that isn't being utilized in the right way, we feel. There is a shortage of plots that are available, especially for indigent veterans. So we want to make sure we maximize all the space that we have down there. And we feel that if we can use some of this money to engage a consultant or someone that specializes in these sorts of activities, we're going to be able to do so in a much more efficient way. Instead of a group of us getting around, never having laid out a cemetery before and trying to figure out the best way to do it, we're going to call on a professional to do it.
Thank you.
Counsel Napolitano?
Do we have a rough idea how much we're looking at taking from the perpetual fund?
It will be no more than 1/3 by the home.
How much is in that fund right now?
About 515. And that money would be paid back to the fund with interest. So we're borrowing it from ourselves.
A third. A third, you said?
A third, 1/3, 33%.
Counsel Simonelli?
Thank you, Mr. President, to you, to Mr. Rodriguez. Is this money also going to be for the beautification of the Glenwood Cemetery, like streets and, it needs a lot of repair?
Yeah, specifically, that's exactly what it's used for, and it's limited to that's exactly what it can be used for. So we're going to be maximizing the amount of plots that we're going to be able to do, as well as beautify things, modernize things, enhance things, and making sure that it's a respectful, beautiful place that people can come and visit their loved ones as well as be laid to rest themselves.
Yes, because, it is our city-owned cemetery, and it's a beautiful cemetery. It needs some help. And I have to make one point also that, in my campaign literature, I mentioned that I'm going to donate $3,000 to the beautification of the cemetery in memory of my mom and dad. I just want to let the people know that I'm going to do that, but I've just got a little more problems to take care of, and I'll put that on to help the cemetery. It's a beautiful cemetery, and it's about time it gets some respect. Thank you.
Any more questions for Mr. Rodriguez?
Use the customary thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Favorable action on the order?
I second that.
Motion made second, favorable action. Mr. Luis.
Roll call.
Roll call, excuse me.
Counsel Capone?
Yes.
Counsel Della Sola?
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio?
Yes.
Counsel McGonigal?
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon?
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano?
Yes.
Counsel Sachetta?
Yes.
Counsel Sani?
Yes.
Counsel Simonelli?
Yes.
Counsel Marchese?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
The home rule petition has been approved.
I
Do we
make a
have-
motion to suspend Rule 7.1, take 13 off the agenda.
Motion made to suspend Rule 7.1 to take item 13 off the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk, read item 13.
Item number 13 is an order sponsored by Counsel Marchese as president. Hereby submit the FY 2015 Water Sewer Enterprise budget and recommend that the following sums be appropriated to operate the water sewer enterprise.
Make a motion to send it to the Budget Committee.
Second. Motion made second to send to the Budget Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This has been sent to the Budget Committee.
It's an order.
Do we have any,
It's an order.
It's an order.
It's being sent to committee.
it's been sent to committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Budget, yeah.
If you're approving the
Thank
money,
you.
then you would,
My mistake, Mr. President.
it's all right, we'll let you go today.
Shouldn't have listened to him.
Do we have any, anything else?
I don't have any other signing Mr. President.
So motion would be
So make a
to,
motion to refer back to the regular order of business.
motion made to refer back to the regular order of,
Item number 3 is an order sponsored by Council Marquez as president, that the chief procurement officer is hereby granted permission to accept and dispose of 1,488 water meters from the Department of Public Works to be declared surplus.
Council Schisella.
Yes, I'd like to have someone answer a couple of questions on this.
Sorry, the purchasing agent's on vacation, but I'm happy to answer to the best of my ability.
Yeah, okay. Are these going to be sold for junk, or are they going to be sold to cities that need new water meters or
No,
whatever?
these will be sold for junk. We'll probably end up taking them to a scrapyard, I would think, for the ones that we can't scrap.
They will go to the junkyard?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Council Del Sola?
Seen how much they would get for that many meters?
I don't know. Jay, do you know how much we'd get per meter for scrap? Like being at home.
Sorry. Jay Marcotte, Director of City Services. It depends on it's basically a commodity. The prices fluctuate daily.
Right.
So the brass could be anywhere from 50 cents to $1. So depending on, it's about 5 to 8 pounds, depending on the size of the meter. So, we're not talking huge cash here.
And the money goes into the general fund.
General fund?
Yeah, when you add up, 1,400 of them, it is a lot of money.
It adds up. All right, thank you.
Council Capone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Excuse me.
Through you, what's the approximate age of these meters?
The last meter replacement program we did was about 20 years ago, 23 years ago.
Yeah, we're finding meters some as old as 30 years old, so.
Thank you. I have no other questions.
Any more questions?
Customary thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Favorable order on the, favorable.
On the motion, could we please make an amendment? For the- Instead of Department of Public Works,
Make
we
it
should make it to be City Services.
We have a second? on
Second.
that?
So strike out Public Works.
Yep.
And add.
City Services. Motion made to amend this by striking out Public Works and to put City Services. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's been amended.
Favorable action, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made, favorable action.
On the order as amended. Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel Della Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio. Counsel McGonigal.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Sachetta.
Yes.
Counsel Sani.
Yes.
Counsel Simonelli.
Yes.
Counsel Marquez.
Yes.
9 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
Has been accepted to dispose of the 1,400 water meters. Clerk, read item number 4.
Item number 4 is an order sponsored by Counsel Michael Marquez as president that the city of Everett accept Mass General Law, Chapter 64G, Section 3A, to impose local room occupancy excise at the rate of 6%.
Favorable action?
On the, before we do it, Counsel Sachetta?
Yes, could I have some from the mayor's office again? I recall during an Alderman meeting that Alderman Marquez at the time brought this factor up so that we might have it for the casino. And we also mentioned that this wouldn't be for any of the existing lodging houses in the city. Is that still the fact?
We're in the process of doing a market analysis of all the lodging houses that are in the city now. There's 14 licensed lodging houses. We believe that 11 of them would be applicable. We've reached out to each one of them to determine what their average, what their nightly rate was, so that we can give the council the best information of what this could possibly mean through an impact. So we have some numbers that are being put together now. We were prepared to give you those numbers in committee. We thought this item would be referred to committee, but we are in the process of finalizing our analysis and determining what the impact for a lodging house would be. This would affect lodging houses, each individual one different. The factors that are added to whether a lodging house would be subject to the occupancy tax include things like, are they a lodging house that usually tailors to transient or travelers, if people stay there for a week or less, if they have, if they issue leases for 90 days or more, how much they charge per night, and a lodging house that charges $15 or less a night is not applicable for the occupancy tax. So it's a kind of complicated analysis that we're doing. We're doing the best we can based on averages. So we have reached out to each one of them. We've gotten varying levels of success talking to them and getting information from them. So we're continuing to try, but we're basing it a lot on averages right now. The numbers are very promising in terms of impact, and we'll be able to provide those to you in committee in a more in-depth.
If in fact we pass this evening, then it's in the hands of the executive part of the government, and we would have no more to say whether this lodge is gonna, this boarding house is gonna be taxed and so on.
You can't pick and choose whether which lodging houses or if lodging houses, that's a state law, so that's preempted by us. That's preempted by state law. So we don't get to choose whether lodging houses do or do not. It's all or nothing. We get this for all hotels and lodging houses based upon the factors that are established by state law, or we don't get anything.
So are we gonna pass it tonight that all lodging houses are gonna have this tax on it?
If you vote favorably, then it would be all hotels and lodging houses that fall into the criteria.
I thought when we brought this up at the Alderman meeting, we were gonna grandfather all the lodging houses here in the city.
It's a local option, so legally you cannot do that. You have to adopt it for everybody.
There's no way to bifurcate the tax, so there's no way to split it off for former hotels like the proposed development for Lower Broadway, and keep all lodging houses held harmless. There's no way to do that.
So if we do it now, it's for a casino and any other lodging house that exist in the city.
All hotels and lodging houses.
Counsel Simonelli.
Thank you. To you, Mr. President, to Mr. Rodriguez. These rooming houses, would this tax trickle down to the people that are renting these lodging houses?
That's an individual business decision that's made by the individual operator. There's nothing within the state law or local option that mandates that it's paid for by the user. Normally, this is the type of tax that's a user tax. It should be noted that there already is a state occupancy tax on rooms like this. So this is just the execution of a local option, much like the meals tax option that was executed several years ago.
I just think you put too much burden on the people just trying to make a place to stay. And if the monthly, the weekly pay is big enough now. To add it to the people that really need it, I don't think this is a good idea right now.
I would just caution you that if you have excessive questions about this or concerns, it may be well for it to go into committee,
That's
because
what I was gonna
there is
recommend.
significant impact, financial impact, if Wynn Resorts does come here, that we would be missing on if we did not vote for this.
Just as a preview to
Yeah,
some
one
of the numbers
question.
that we're prepared to offer in committee, if the 6% tax is passed, and Wynn Resorts does come to the city, assuming 500 rooms at an 85% occupancy rate at $250 per night, the city annually would bring in $2.3 million per year. Those are very conservative numbers. They are probably going to be higher than an 85% occupancy on average. They will probably charge more than $250 per night, and 500 rooms is on the low end of what they're proposing so far. So it's certainly something that's worth doing. It's also worth noting that this is not a sales tax. This is an occupancy tax. So even if the rooms are comped, the 6% is still paid on the market rate of the room.
Counsel Capone.
If there's no objections, I do think there's a lot here, and I would, if there's an objection, I'll withdraw, but otherwise, I would ask that we, excuse with customary thanks, refer this to the Committee on Community and Business Development.
I'll second that.
We will bring a full presentation.
If we could, yes, I was gonna ask, I'm sorry, Mr. President, if they could bring a presentation so we could understand what's going on
We'll invite
to the committee.
It's fine. We had
And-
assumed that this was going to be going to committee, so that's why I didn't have the numbers provided for each.
I have just one quick question.
Counsel DeFlorio,
I'm sorry,
please.
does this have a deadline?
It's quarterly, so you have to pass it quarterly, so if we miss this quarter, it would be the next quarter anyway.
Okay, but it won't affect anything?
No.
Okay. So I second that motion,
That was to refer it to
legislative.
Committee of Business Development?
Community and Business Development.
Okay, motion made to refer to Committee of Business Development. All in favor?
I thought I voted
Aye.
legislative.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is referred to the,
Okay.
Clerk?
Item number 5, it's an order sponsored by Council Michael Marquez, is present, to grant the school department permission to file a statement of interest form with the Massachusetts School Building Authority regarding the potential new school is needed to eliminate severe overcrowding. We have a communication. Number 5. From the superintendent, it made on Tuesday evening, February 18th, the school committee voted to request you to submit the enclosed statement of interest to the Massachusetts School Building Authority for the construction of a new school. This request is to address the increasing student population over the last 7 years and expected increase predicted by the Metropolitan Area Planning Council. In accordance with regulations, you must submit this statement of interest to the City Council for their approval before it can be sent to the Mass School Building Authority for consideration. Enclosed is the School Building Authority's suggested text of the motion needs to be approved. As I stated in my letter to you dated December 17, 2013, from 2005 to 2012, our student population grew from just under 5,200 students to more than 7,000. That represents a staggering 25% increase in just 7 years. Looking at narrower time frame, we added 521 students between September of 2012 and September 2013, bringing the total student population today to over 7,000. Whereas this request is time sensitive, your prompt submission to City Council requested. Sincerely, Superintendent Forster. Very briefly, the letter from His Honor the Mayor. Attached, please find a resolution in accordance with the Mass School Building Authority's regulations. In a letter we all received on February 19, 2014, the school committee requested that the City Council consider a statement of interest for the construction of a new school. Studies conducted by MAPC as well as historical data presented by the school department have shown that student population has and will continue to grow in the city of Everett. Today we have over 7,000 students in the Everett Public Schools. This statement of interest is a step toward building a new school, but it is in no way a commitment from the City Council to fund a new school. Together we are preparing for the Everett's future. I respectfully request that the committee meeting on this issue be held before March 18th so that Dr. Stella can attend. Thank you for your consideration of this order. Sincerely, Carl DiMaria, Mayor.
Favorable action on the order.
Excuse me, before we have
On this,
do you have,
yeah.
Councilor
actually,
Napolitano?
Okay.
Thank you. Actually, I want to refer this to government operations, public safety, and public service. You know, there has been a deal of research, and births have been increasing in the city of Everett over the last 10 years. Take, for example, in 2004, there were 436 births to Everett residents. 2013, it's 637, so that's almost 200 more births annually than the past 10 years, and that trend has increased every year. So I think this is very important that we do look ahead at the capacity of our schools and look at the option of being able to add an additional school. So I'd like to refer this to government operations, public safety, and public service.
Yep. Before we vote, Councilor McKinnon, like to speak on it?
Yes, I spoke to the superintendent, and I also spoke to the mayor's office on this. It's time sensitive, so we would have to actually get it into committee real quick, get a decision out of committee, and then get it out. So what this does is just basically get us in line to actually be in line to get the funding and request the funding from the state. So
It doesn't affect anything.
It doesn't really affect anything one way or the other. It just gets us in line to get the grant funding that we need. So it's up to you if you want to put it in committee, but it would have to come out real quickly. It was explicitly explained that is time sensitive to it, so we have to act very quickly on this. So
Mr. Chairman,
I want
favorable action
you
on
to-
the order.
I want you to take this into consideration, though, before you do this.
I will gladly
Councilor
withdraw
Floyd?
my motion for a favorable
Councilor
action.
Floyd, would you like to speak on this?
Yeah, the council withdrew his motion.
And-
I asked for favorable recommendation. It doesn't affect anything, it doesn't cost us anything.
Favorable
It's just to
recommendation
get-
right now?
yeah, it's
And
just to get
second.
in line, so it's not,
Okay.
Roll call vote.
Councilor Capone?
Can we have someone from the solicitor's office here to speak on this, they're aware of? I think someone, I think Dave might be on.
I feel like, let's come up. Good evening, City Solicitor, Mr. Mahia. Mr. Capone, would you?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. With regards to this, I know that it's time sensitive, so that's why we're taking it up this evening. Are you familiar with what we're talking about right now with the?
The item on the agenda, yes.
Okay. Is there any commitment whatsoever on
No.
behalf of the city, the school department? Does it cost them any money to
No.
present this in?
Nope, it's
Okay.
just a form of interest.
Okay,
That's it.
we're just getting live.
Yep.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Excuse with the customary
Excuse
thanks.
customary
Thank you, and can I have a
Favorable
motion?
action.
We'd like motion for favorable action.
Favorable action.
Motion made, second for favorable action. Roll call vote.
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel De La Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counsel McGonigal.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Sechetta.
Yes.
Counsel Sani. Yes. Counsel Simonelli.
Yes.
Counsel Marchese.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
We grant the favorable act for the school department to file a statement of interest form. Clerk, read the next.
Item number 6,
Item.
an ordinance sponsored by Counsel Marchese is present that the city council and the mayor's office work collaboratively to develop a snow shoveling ordinance for the city of Everett.
Make a motion, to send this to Committee on Safety, Public
We-
Safety.
Legislation.
amend it to an order first? It's not an ordinance.
What's-
Amend it to an order.
Make a motion to amend,
Oh, to-
strike out ordinance and put an order in, please.
Motion made,
Second.
strike out, motion made second to strike out the ordinance word and put an order. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Clerk, favorable action to refer this to the Legislative Affairs Committee. Right? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk, read item number 7.
Item number 7 is an order sponsored by Councilor Michael Marchese is present. In accordance with Chapter 44, Section 20 of the Mass General Laws, the sum of $200,000 is transferred from unexpended amounts originally appropriated and borrowed to pay design costs associated with the 7-acre park pursuant to Order AO197-13 of this council, which project has been completed and for which no further financial liabilities remain, to pay design costs of Sacramone Park and Florence Street.
Counsel McKinnon.
Favorable action on this order.
On the motion, Mr.
So the motion has to be a transfer, let me see,
Mr. Chairman,
before,
Suspend Rule 13.
suspend Rule 20,
13.
suspend Rule 13. But,
Motion made to suspend Rule 13.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I oppose. Matters before you. Counsel DeFlorio.
I'm a little confused on this. Is this something that was in the capital improvement before? Am I
What's, Mr. Erickson?
misunderstanding?
Thank you. Jamie Erickson, Planning and Development Director. This was funded with last year's capital improvement program. We had an amount in there for 7-acre park design. We were basing that amount on a very rough cost estimate that we got from one designer. Then we talked to, once we had the appropriation, we talked to other designers to make sure we're getting a competitive price. The actual design cost that we went with, which ended up being a different designer, was actually lower than we had anticipated. We're able to cover all the costs that we need to with that contract, and we'd just like to reappropriate that funding to cover other park design work, because those two parks also very much need park design work.
So you basically had the project done for less, and this is extra money that you're gonna use for other projects?
Correct, yes.
Is that, am I understanding? Okay.
Yeah, we're actually still working on the 7-acre park design, but we have the contract in place with that designer, and we already have the funding that we need encumbered for the full design work and everything that we need for the design.
Okay, thank you.
Counsel McKinnon.
There's also soil testing and all that stuff.
That's all
Is that
part
in-
of that as well, yes.
This will be included with this?
Yeah.
Well, our contract with our designer included all of those things that we're gonna be doing once the weather gets, better. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me, the customary thanks.
Thank you. One more question?
Yeah.
Counsel Sechetta.
Regarding the $200,000 transfer, is that gonna cover all of what you need for the Sacramone and Florence Street parks?
It should, good question. We have another estimate for the Sacramone Park design work, and we are getting an estimate for the Florence Street Park design work. But this should cover both of those. They're much smaller projects than 7-acre park, so they won't cost as much as 7-acre park from a design perspective, because there isn't quite as much engineering, environmental, things along those lines. So it should
Thank you.
cover both.
Council Capone?
Thank you. You said you have an estimate on Sacramone already?
Yes.
What is that?
I believe it's around 95,
Oh, 95?
I want to say. And that's
And-
very competitive, so
Okay.
that's a good price.
So Lower Florence, you think it'll come in around the same amount?
That's our estimation, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it might even be even a little bit less than that, but we like to leave a buffer in there just in case something comes up during the design process that we don't anticipate.
Thank you. I have no further
Make a
questions.
motion for favor.
And on just, before we proceed with this, just one quick question. You have a price for Sacramone? Is it regular turf, grass? What is it gonna be?
We're still, obviously, we haven't even started the design yet, but I think the intent is to look at, for the entire park, I know there was discussion earlier about the little sliver by Best Buy. Would that improve operations around there? Would it make for a better park? Should we pursue that idea? For the field itself, the idea right now is to look at an artificial field, artificial turf, because that's a heavily used Little League place, park. Likely, you could only fit one in that location, depending on how it's designed, but a lot of that needs to be worked through the design process.
Right, thank you very much. The matters before you.
Favorable action. Order.
Second. Customary things.
Thank you very much.
Motion made and second for favorable action. Roll call.
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel Delasola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counsel McGonigal.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel Napolitano.
Yes.
Counsel Socchetta.
Yes.
Counsel Sani. Counsel Simonelli.
Yes.
Counsel Marquez.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
The money has been transferred and approved. Clerk, read item number 11.
Item number 11 is order sponsored by Councilor Michael Marquez as president to submit the capital improvement plan for fiscal year 2015.
Make a motion to refer it to the budget committee.
Second motion.
Motion made and second, refer to Budget Committee. All in favor? Aye. Aye opposed? Going to refer it to Budget Committee. Clerk, read item number 12.
15.
I think we're down to item number 16.
Oh, yeah, okay, yes.
Are we down to 16?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Item number 16 is an order sponsored by Councilor Michael Marquez as
Wait, hold it.
president.
No, we didn't do 15.
Item number 15 is an order sponsored by Councilor Michael
Yes, we did.
Marquez as president to transfer the amount of $1,345,000 from budgetary fund balance to the following capital improvement plan accounts. IT telephone system upgrade, $150,000, bucket truck, $81,000, F-350 pickup truck with plows and sander, $45,000, chipper truck, $127,000, Bobcat with attachments, $72,000, gas vehicle maintenance system, $80,000, engineering, Mount Washington Street wall, construct $110,000, planning design plans for reuse of old high school, $350,000, infrastructure repairs at Conley Center, $150,000, library place carpeting at the library, $80,000, for a total of $1,345,000.
Motion made to put this in the Business and Development Committee,
Second motion.
Motion made and second to refer this to the Committee on,
Community Business Development.
to Committee and Budget Development Committee. What?
One has to do with next year's budget, the other one has to do with this
Can we ask the question to the city auditor, please?
This has got to do with 2000.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, there seems confusion. This item has got to do with improvements for fiscal 2014.
14.
I believe the capital improvements proposal we sent to budget has to do with next fiscal year, 2015.
So, what was the
No,
recommendation?
Can we
One
invite
at a time.
the city auditor?
Two different,
Community
it's
and
two different,
Yeah, what committee?
Community Development.
On the motion, could I ask a question to the city auditor before we send it to committee?
Mr. Biscay, if you could please.
Yeah, no votes been taken.
No votes, yeah.
Thank you.
Can you explain this, please?
Sure. As part of the capital improvement plan, there's about $15 million worth of capital improvements, part of which we plan on funding through a free cash appropriation. So that order I sent in with the capital improvement budget. So I think it's probably something that will go into your budget committee or your Ways and Means committee.
So this would go to the budget committee?
It's a free cash appropriation. So when you read the capital improvement plan, you'll see some of the items that we're planning on doing are going to be funded through free cash. So
Okay.
they kind of go hand in hand.
They're going hand in hand, so this item number 15 would actually go to the budget committee. We don't have to send it on the committee of
Community business development.
community and business
I
development?
don't know why it would be business development. I figure it would be Ways and Means or part of the Budget Committee, but once you approve, my hope is that the capital plan is approved as submitted, and then once the capital plan is approved as submitted, then the free cash appropriations and the bond orders would follow in suit.
See, I like it to go to the budget committee for the simple reason is because all the councils are there. When you send it to Ways and Means, there's only 4 or 5 of us, and not everybody gets to ask the questions. So this is an important matter, so
That's fine with me.
that's my recommendation. But I'll leave it
Council
up to
Paul-
my colleagues.
I will
Council
withdraw my
Napolitano?
motion.
Council Napolitano?
Okay, I just, because I thought we had cleared something up here. These items here, these were approved on last year's capital improvement?
No, they coincide with the fiscal year 15 capital improvement.
So
plan
we're
that
making a
you're-
request to move money from free cash to fund this, yet we haven't approved the capital.
I submitted the order as part of the budget itself, so you have the free cash order as part of the capital improvement plan, so.
So these components here are part of the capital improvement plan that we're sending to the committee to review.
That's right.
But to be funded out of the free cash.
If you read the capital improvement plan before you, you're gonna see $1,345,000 of the plan is presented to be funded through free cash, and that's the order that goes with it.
No, I realize that, but we just got the information tonight, so I mean, most of us haven't even had an opportunity to digest it, let alone,
My understanding-
that there's a transfer involved as well.
I figured you'd put both in committee.
Right.
The budget.
Okay.
Okay, I will excuse with the customary
Thank you.
thanks.
I withdraw.
No, I agree.
Thank you, Mr. Biscay.
Thank you.
Uh,
I withdraw my motion and.
Make a motion to send it
make-
to the budget committee.
Second.
Yeah.
Motion
Second.
made and second to send it to the Budget Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
I oppose. It's been sent to the Budget Committee. Clerk, read item 16.
Item number 16, order sponsored by Council Michael Marquez, is present petition for second-class motor deal license from European Motors Auto Sales at 511 Second Street from Luigi Acerno. All paperwork is in order. This is a renewal.
Favorable action on the order.
Motion made for favorable action. Clerk, there'll be a roll call vote.
Yes. Council Capone.
Yes.
Council Delasola.
Yes.
Council DeFlorio.
Yes.
Council McGonigal.
Yes.
Council McKinnon.
Yes.
Council Napolitano.
Yes.
Council Sechetta.
Yes.
Council Sani.
Yes.
Council Simonelli.
Yes.
Council Marquez.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
The second-class motor deal has been approved. Clerk, read item 17, please.
Mr. Chairman, can we take item number 17, 18, and 20 collectively?
What was that, 17, 18?
17, 18, and 20. Accept the committee report and place on file and grant further time.
Motion made, second, to take items 17, 18, 19, 20, to accept,
The committee report.
to submit the committee report and grant for further time.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, on
Oh,
item number
18.
17, I have an amendment, please, and I would like to strike out a representative of the police chief. I don't need the chief of police to come to this meeting. I don't want to take up time out of his busy schedule, so.
I think the committee had requested that, so that was the will of the committee.
Okay, so we just,
Talk to the chairman.
Yeah.
Talk to the chairman of the committee.
Okay.
And tell them
I'm
that you
sorry.
don't think it's
I'll withdraw mine.
necessary.
Okay.
so Peter, we have 17,
17,
18, and 20. Motion made to take 17, 18, and 20 collectively. And, all in favor?
Aye.
Also, on the motion made for favorable action to accept,
Accept the committee report and grant
accept
further
the,
time.
yeah, and, accept the committee report and grant further time. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Clerk, read item 21.
Item number 21 is a resolution sponsored by Councilor John Lee McKinnon, Government Operations Committee report to invite Senator Sal DiDomenico, the head of the Little League, and Crimson Tide Pop Warner to appear the next meeting of Government Operations, Public Safety, Public Service, relative to explaining the $50,000 earmarked to do over the snack shack and bathrooms at Sacramone Park.
Accept committee report, place on file.
Motion made and second to accept the committee report. All in favor?
Aye.
Favor?
On this, also, I'd like to refer this to the mayor's office and amend it by asking if they can look at the piece of land that's owned by Best Buy, because that was not, it was discussed in committee, but it wasn't approved. So,
Okay, now, what do we have before us right here? now?
Yeah.
We just vote on something, you're amending something else on top of
Yeah,
it.
you can't amend that.
Yeah.
Does that have to?
So what do we?
I'll wait till then.
Exactly.
I
Okay.
say, we just granted, and.
I'll wait till it comes back, just
Okay.
favorable action on the order.
Motion made second for favorable action.
To refer to.
Mayor's
To
office.
refer to his honor the mayor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, clerk, read item 22.
Item number 22 is resolution sponsored by Council Richard Delasola and Council Lee McKinnon, Government Operations, Public Safety, and Public Service Committee report. Today, an update on the progress of the bathrooms being done over at the rec center from the Recreation Commissioner and Director of Operations.
Accept the committee report, place on file.
Motion made second to accept the committee report and to place on file. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We accepted the,
Do you know what the recommendation was?
The recommendation was the first month in April to come back with a report.
Okay. I don't have those reports in front of me.
Sorry about that.
First, so is that a grant further time or is it a?
Grant further
Okay, thank
time.
you. Grant further time to have a report back. Thank you. Item number 23 is a resolution sponsored by Council John Liam McKinnon, Council Peter Napolitano, Government Operations, Public Safety, and Public Service Committee report to discuss auxiliary police patrol proposal.
Accept committee report, place on file.
Again, if I may, Mr. Thuya, what was the record? I don't have those reports in front of me. What was the
did we have that
recommendation?
meeting?
They did, but I don't have the reports.
Oh.
The meeting was prior to this meeting, so
Yep.
he would not have, they're not typed as of yet,
Yeah.
so. The recommendation would be to send this to the mayor's office as well,
Okay.
with a report back within 1 month.
So is further time, report back 1 month from the
Yes.
mayor's, okay.
Motion request further time and to send to the mayor's office for report back in 1 month. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk, read item 20.
Oh, okay. Which one we got now?
24.
Item number 24, resolution sponsored by Council John Lemmy O'Kinnon, Government Operations, Public Safety, Public Service Committee report that the company that is changing water meters provided a statement of what homeowners and businesses are signing, but cannot get a copy of at a time of service.
Accept
Councilman
committee
McKinnon.
report, place on file, and with that recommendation of them providing 2 numbers, one from the company and one from city services, the director, so that if individuals would like a signed copy, they could obtain those numbers to get one.
So exactly what is your motion there?
That motion would be to accept the committee report, place on file, and then grant further time so that we could actually have them come back before us and see how many requested.
Grant further time.
A motion made and second to grant further time. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion made to grant further time. 26.
Item number 26, resolution sponsored by Council Michael Marquez as president. Committee on Community and Business Operations report to resolve to adopt the City of Everett Complete Streets Resolution, the accompanying City of Everett Complete Streets Guide, a healthy approach to design.
Mr. Chairman,
Council McGonigal?
we ran short on the committee meeting, so I asked Mr. Erickson, and I think it's Ms. Spain, if they could come up before us to explain this
26.
to all of us, because there were questions that were unanswered. That's why I had to leave. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's fine.
Thanks. Council McGonigal?
If you just want to introduce yourself before I ask a question.
My name is Valerie Spain. I'm the Director of Energize Everett, which is the Mass in Motion initiative here in Everett.
Jamie Erickson, Director of Planning and Development.
Thank you. Thank you. The question I had, and I knew a few of my other colleagues didn't get to ask their questions, but what's the difference between when our engineering department comes in and designs a street and tells us how to build it? What is the difference between what you're proposing and what they do?
Well, the Complete Streets, this is really a guide on how to design streets so that they're available to all kinds of people, disabled, children, elders, and also allowing all kinds of modalities, so buses, bikes, So, and it's really, it's a guideline. It's a guideline for them as they are doing these designs.
From a practical standpoint, there's very little change to how that works. So, city engineer will still design, for example, if the city engineer is designing a street, essentially what this resolution is asking is that the city engineer more deliberately incorporates Complete Streets ideas into the design process, which shouldn't change really much of what's going on, because a lot of what the city engineer is already doing is looking out for sidewalks, pedestrians, cyclists, things along those lines. This is just saying, let's just take another look at the design and see, can we do a better job at accommodating for the disabled, for the elderly, for buses, for cyclists, things along those lines, within this given right-of-way of a street that we have.
Okay, because that's my question. I'm not against it at all, it's just, if we don't need it.
Well, there's a couple benefits of passing this.
And that's what I need you to
Right.
explain to us.
The couple benefits that are very clearly outlined in the memo that was provided. One, if we adopt this, and we are what would be the first city in the Commonwealth to adopt a Complete Streets resolution, we would be at the forefront in the state for, one, this policy, but two, for grant funding that could come our way. So the state and the federal government are actually putting some resources towards grant funding, but they're only available, or they will be, assuming they get through the legislative process. They're pending right now. They would only be available for communities that actually have adopted a Complete Streets resolution or a Complete Streets ordinance. That funding could be available to us. If we don't have this on the books, we can't apply for those funds. And two, it just shows the city's commitment to public health, which helps us with other grant funding for public health initiatives, as well as just showing people who might want to be located in an area where they want to be able to walk to the store or the corner store. Yes, the city actually is, they've made a resolution, they made a commitment to accommodating all users of a streetscape, all users of a neighborhood, not just, it's something that we already do, we're just going to continue doing it. This is like a more deliberate statement, so to speak, by the council, which does go a long way when it comes to getting funding for projects, for improving the way people view the city when it comes to, do I want to relocate there or move there, things along those lines.
Thank you for explaining that. Sure.
Council McKinnon.
Mr. Erickson, is this a matching fund or grant that we have to go after through the state, or?
For future funding?
Yes.
The grant program hasn't come out yet, so we don't know how exactly it's going to be programmed. But again, we do know that they're going to be looking for local communities to have adopted a Complete Streets resolution. The existing funding that we have, though, Valerie can talk about that. I don't know.
Well, there's not particular existing funding for Complete Streets.
For Complete Streets per se.
No, there's not. I mean, but there is in the transportation bond bill that's in the Senate now, there is there's this $50 million over 5 years, if it gets passed, for people who have passed this Complete Streets resolution to apply for. So there's something actually in the works now. So.
We don't know how the program would be.
But we don't know.
Would it be a match? Would it be just grants for projects?
Right.
Usually there's a component, like a 20% match, but we just don't know. We haven't seen the guidelines yet to know how that would work.
So it's just in the process of getting started up correctly?
The program, yes.
Okay, and we would be the first in the state to be doing this?
We would be the first to adopt the resolution.
First city?
First city, yep. There are a couple towns that have done it, but I think Valerie mentioned Salem and Littleton. But we do know that a lot of communities around us are looking at adopting these as well.
In those towns, have you basically ridden out there and taken a look and see how it adapts their city to the way that we want to do this project here?
Meaning, how has it worked in the field?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of these principles are already being in place in places like Somerville, Cambridge, Boston. We even have an example of a complete street on Lower Broadway where we have bike lanes, crosswalks, pedestrian signals, handicap ramps, bus lanes or bus stops. That's really what a complete street is. It's not going to necessarily change how we look at our streets. It's just a more deliberate action to say, have we done enough, or can we do more?
Thank you very much.
Council Del Sola.
Hey, Jim, this project, I do a lot of work over in Cambridge and Somerville, and they're up on Western Ave actually doing the same project. I'm not sure if they have the same grant money as that we're looking for, but like you said, the sidewalks are wider. They have the lanes for the bikes,
Yes.
it-
That's an idea of what we're talking
So
about.
like, you're talking like on Main Street, you make the sidewalks bigger? Now, would you close the street itself?
Every street's different. That would need to be done on a case-by-case basis. And as Valerie mentioned, these are just guidelines of when we look at a main street or a side street or a main thoroughfare, but it's not Broadway, for example.
Right.
How should we look at the design, and how can we make the sidewalks a little bit wider? Can we accommodate a bike lane? Can we improve the intersection for pedestrians, and maybe at a bus stop there, or improve the intersection for the disabled? So it's less than a specific, this is what we're going to do right here. It's more, these are guidelines to help us just work.
With the raised
through the design
crosswalks and all that stuff?
That could be part of it,
Yeah.
yes. That's
Yeah.
certainly a way to incorporate a complete street concept into a design.
And it also includes things like beautification, so trees on a street, or
Right.
benches, or those sort of things. And the mayor, seems to be committed to those kinds of things in Everett as well. So I think this would complement what's going on in the redevelopment and also with beautification projects. So it's a complement, plus it comes with possible grant money.
Right. If you went down Main Street, there's no trees.
No.
Right
Main
now,
Street.
correct, so.
There's no trees, right.
Don't want trees.
So I mean, this is certainly part of the capital improvement program that the mayor has presented, certainly includes working on repaving streets, on improving streetscape, sidewalks, crosswalks, and this really fits into everything that we're already doing. It just formalizes what we're already trying to do.
Right.
Which has the net benefit of allowing us to go for grant funding more, and allowing us, even if it's not grant funding deliberately for complete streets, we can write it into other grant applications, which really does help.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, customary thanks. Matters before you. Council Capone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for sticking around. I got cut off mid-question in committee because we were running late. I do appreciate you hanging around. It's been a long night. You've answered most of the questions. We're talking about this program is around in one form or another about 10 years. Whereas it's a resolution, we're really not locked into anything. It's just we're stating that this is something that we'd like to incorporate in design if we could. And then if funding comes in down the road, depending on what strings are attached with the funding, that's when we have to take it on a case-by-case basis with regards to what we do, what we don't incorporate, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And we would be the first community, first city in the state to do this. Are we just being more proactive than other communities? Is there anything that you can think of that would be a drawback why other communities aren't already jumping on this program?
I just think we're being more proactive than other communities. I think we have part of, and I can't speak for Valerie, but I know part of some of the initiative for Valerie and some of her predecessors was to look at the design of streetscapes from a public health perspective. Are we encouraging people to walk? Are we encouraging people to bike? That can certainly lead to lower obesity rates. There's a lot of reciprocal benefits to that. And Complete Streets was an outcome of some of that analysis. It's definitely, from a planning perspective, something that many communities have been looking at incorporating, maybe not as deliberately as we are today for many, many years. You mentioned the 10-year time frame. That's just the idea of when the concept of Complete Streets have come out. But now there's an opportunity, because there's potential for funding coming down the pipeline. Now is when communities are starting to look at, wow, we actually need to more deliberately adopt a resolution or an ordinance for this. Cambridge and Boston already have requirements and design guidelines on the books that are basically what we're trying to do here. They've had them on the books for years. They just don't call them complete streets, and so they need to adjust what they already have on the books to be more compliant with what the state is asking from some of these potential future program dollars. We just happen to be at the forefront of actually adopting this street.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for sticking around. I have no further questions.
Matters before you.
Excuse customary thanks.
Excuse customary thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Favorable action?
Second.
Motion made in second for favorable action. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye opposed. The resolution is passed. Quick read.
28.
Item 28, I believe.
Item number 28 is an order sponsored by Council Rosa DeFlorio to dedicate the intersection of Dean Street and Warren Street in honor of Edward Francis Paris and Assunta Dioguardi.
Refer to the Veterans Commission.
Second. Motion made in second to send this to the Veterans Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? As has been said, clerk read item 29.
It has to be.
Item number 29, resolution sponsored by Council P. Napolitano that the Everett Police increase patrols around School Street Municipal Parking Lot on the weekend due to noise complaints from the neighboring residents.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to refer this to the Committee on Government Operations, Public Safety, and Public Service.
Second.
And also invite a representative from the Chief's office.
Motion made to send this to the Committee of Public Service, Public Safety, and also to send a member from the Police Department to come here for that meeting. And also, on item 28, I believe the order has to be a roll call vote on that. Not to refer. If it was a vote for it, it would be. Okay. That seems to be it. A motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made and second to adjourn.
We should vote on 29.
Excuse me?
We got to vote on 29.
Okay.
Just all
Oh,
in
excuse me, 29. All in favor?
Aye.
I opposed? It has been sent to the Police Department. Motion made and second to adjourn.
Good cooperation.
All in
over there.
favor? Opposed? Anybody want to stay here longer? Sally, you want?